On Fridays, we have something special that we've started this year called Community Day, where we're trying to build community within our department and an understanding of responsibility towards each other. This is a great day for us to do projects, especially group projects, and we were inspired by the Good Learner, Good Student discussion that we had been having to create a project for our students just to see where their mindset was in terms of good learners and good students. So the project went like this. We got them all together as a group, and we had two columns on the board, a good student column and a good learner column. And we asked them to brainstorm some ideas that they felt were attributes of each one of those. So we listed them on the board and we talked about it. We sort of challenged each other a little bit, and then we analyzed, okay, what does this list of words really say about the person? And we started to notice that with a good student, it was more behavioral, procedural. You're on time, you've got your stuff, you are setting aside time to do your work and study and whatnot. And then the other side, the good learner side, was more intrinsic, motivation, a push, a drive to master things. Those kinds of ideas where they really clearly lended themselves to the idea of either literal movement. When we create literal movement, there's not much underneath it. It's sort of surface. It says what it's trying to say, versus abstract movement, which makes the audience and the choreographer and the performer, for that matter, really think and dive deeper into what movement could mean and what it could symbolize. So in their groups, they were required to create two phrases of movement. One was based on the list of the good student attributes, and that was to be literal movement. The other was based on the attributes of the good learner list, which was to be abstract movement. And then together as a group, they had to decide how to combine all of that movement to make a cohesive work, utilizing the elements of time, space, and energy, which we use to really analyze in detail dance and choreography. What resulted was really interesting. They had to work together as a group, perform together as a group, and then at the very end, they needed to state what they felt was necessary, very succinctly, what was necessary for anyone to be at their best during the learning process. So they needed to make that statement, and then they had to describe some of the choices that they made within their group and why they made the choices within time, space, and energy, as well as the literal and the abstract, how they translated those words that we came up with on the board into actual movement.
So I was a good student and brought her with me and took her home because I was prepared, but I didn't use her like the good learners did, took in all the information.
And then this part was like me putting my information into the
This part where we went down really quick was we have an idea, and then we slowly asked the question, and then we turned back around and the fan thing is just a transition. And then when I did this, that was not, oh my god. This was grasping her information again, like engaging in it, and then we hit it, and we just
And then my more literal was just obviously was listening. And then this was turning in my work on time and being focused and participating. And our sentence was being prepared, being engaged, being cooperative, and turning in work on time is just a few things that make a good student.
having the qualities of studying, asking questions, engaging, and focusing all can make a good learner.
So our sentence was, a person must be engaged, respectful, and determined to perform at their best during the learning process.
They did a really nice job. These are all of our first year students, so at this point they haven't been doing a whole lot of this. We're sort of starting to dip our toe in the water with the choreographic elements and being able to describe and analyze. But the most interesting part was the brainstorming with the attributes and seeing what they thought was good in either of those scenarios, and then at the end, what they felt was necessary. And it was a really nice mix of, well, yeah, you have to have a little bit of both in order to be at your best. So hopefully they were able to self-reflect and see like what kind of attributes do I possess and what's my potential within the learning process.